For our final problem in this set, we have a problem that's a bit more relatable, something that you might actually encounter in your life. So let's read it. In order for your blender to cut up all your fruits, it needs approximately 12 kilocoulombs worth of charge. But the wire of your blender can only supply 10 amperes. So how long would it take your blender to cut up all your fruits? Before we start solving, let's try to visualize that. So we've got our blender, right? And your blender needs 12 kilocoulombs to cut all of this fruit. But your wire can only supply 10 amperes. So if your wire supplies 10 amperes and it needs to reach 12 kilocoulombs, how long would that take, man? How long would you need your blender to turn on para ang 12 kilocoulombs would be reached and so that all your fruits can be cut? So let's try to solve. First, our given. We're told that our charge that we need to meet, or the charge, is just 12 kilocoulombs. And the current of our wire can only supply 10 amperes, and therefore our current is 10 amperes. It also asks for the time. How long would it take, or what's the time it would take for the 12 kilocoulombs to be reached? So our time is still unsolved. Now we can solve. But before solving and putting it into our formula, we gotta convert the kilocoulombs into normal coulombs. So in 1 kilocoulomb, there are 1,000 coulombs. So put that in your calculator and you'll get 12,000 coulombs. You can simplify that with scientific notation and notice that if we have the decimal place right beside 12, we'd need to move the decimal place 1, 2, 3. So it's 12 times 10 to the power of 3. You could also write 1.2 times 10 to the power of 4 coulombs. Because if you want your decimal place to be in between 1 and 2, then you have to move 4 places instead, because 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 to the power of 4. But again, these three numbers, they're really all just the same. It's just up to your preference what you're most comfortable with. Now we can solve and put it in our formula. So we've got 12 times 10 to the power of to the power of 3 coulombs divided by our 10 amperes. And we end up with 1,200 seconds. So it takes 1,200 seconds for all this to happen. But we can still turn this seconds into minutes, right? Because that's a lot of seconds and it'd be more convenient if we could understand that through minutes. So let's convert. So 1,200 seconds, right? In 1 second, there's approximately 1 over 60 minutes. Or in 60 seconds, there's 1 minute. And put that in your calculator and you'll end up with 20 minutes. So finally, our answer is that it would take your blender 20 minutes. It would take your blender 20 minutes to cut up all this fruit. And it would take your blender 20 minutes to reach the 12 kilocoulombs.